This is the Eye for an Eye channel. Welcome to today's show. Oh boy, this is pretty funny, but it's pretty expected. And of course, the idiots out there who play into left and right, they look at these things and they don't realize what's actually going on. So we have Target once again, so out of touch, wink, wink, with what's going on. That's the perception that most of these people have. They don't realize that they're destroying all of these corporations by design. Everything is going to be one. Everything's going to run through one big corporation and one big, and it looks like if you didn't see my video on Amazon, that's the one they're going to use because even Amazon is doing Amazon Medical now, Medical One. But anyway, back to Target. We all know about all the no pun intended, uprising with Target and how Target was, they're selling this stuff to kids. They're putting this merchandise out there to kids, and this is wrong, and we need to boycott Target. These people think that boycotting Target, because they're still convinced that this is about money, right? So they're boycotting Target. They're like, we're going to do this to Target because of what they're doing, and we're going to boycott Target. We're going to boycott Bud Light, and then somehow this makes them feel better every day where they're like, I'm anti-Bud Light. And they know what they're doing, the people creating these psychological ops. Target knows what they're doing. This is all done by design. So these people keep seeing this stuff and they get irate about it. So this is absolutely hilarious. And as somebody, of course, you guys know I identify as non-binary, so I don't want anyone to think I'm passing any judgment here. I'm just giving you the news of the story. Of course, I support the Pride Committee all the time, right? But of course, it has nothing really to do with the sexual preference. It has everything to do with the communist agenda and what they're doing and how they're taking people and warping their minds and, doing stuff like this. So Target's under fire for sexualizing Christmas with Pride Santa. That's right. So it gives Nutcracker a whole new meaning when we see the Nutcracker holding up that Pride flag, right? And I support it and love it. And now, of course, we all know that Christmas is really Saturnalia. It's a pagan holiday. I don't go into too deep a detail about it anymore because most people should know it. I know some Christians decide, hey, you know what? I'm going to spend time with family. Whatever. But everybody out there, even if you're Christian and you try to celebrate it by seeing family and whatever you want to do, just realize you probably keep Santa Claus away, if anything, when you're doing this stuff, because Santa Claus is based on Nimrod. Of course, we see Nimrod in the Bible depicted with the tree. Okay, this is really just call him what he is, Satan Claus, right? I mean, that's what it is. So we get a wonderful shot, not only of the Nutcracker, which, could you make it up with get it, Nutcracker and Pride flag? But you also get Santa. And what's Santa doing? Well, Santa, of course, is wearing a Love Wins shirt. Love is love, which I love this motto. Of course, this is the communist motto, love is love. And Santa's holding up the Pride flag, right? So people out there in an uproar about it. Of course, Christians don't even realize what Christmas really is. So it takes it to a new level of stupidity in the point, really, because they don't realize whose holiday it really is. And again, I don't get on people for what they want to do. There's too much craziness going on for me. And of course, I'm not here to pass judgment on anybody what they do. But come on. If you don't know Christmas is a pagan holiday, let's be real here. Okay? If you're celebrating Santa Claus, if other people are like, well, I don't celebrate, I celebrate Jesus' birthday. Well, his birthday's not really on Christmas, but hey, some people believe it's on that 11th day of September. You could learn more about that. I talk about that on the website. People talk about it in the forum, uprisingrevival.com. So you can learn more about that over there. But anyway, so we have Santa Claus. These are things they're selling again, right? So you would say, well, isn't Target aware last time they tried to do this with the bathing suits and all this stuff they were selling to kids in the kids department? Oh, everybody was in an uproar. And then they were bragging about how Target, their stock was going down. This is just playing into the right, and the right fall for this because they think this stuff's about money, and if we protest them, they're going to go under. They're doing this by design. Okay, they don't care how much money they lose because they still will print money and give money to these corporations. It's not about making money anymore. It's about social engineering and, like Larry Fink told us, behavioral control, because that's what it's always been about. So Target's facing backlash once again for sexualizing Christmas, because people don't realize that it's not actually, what they're doing isn't sexualizing. They're building up an army. Okay, these people are they're building up a communist army is what they're doing. Because that's what that flag may as well represent. It's anti-America, it's anti-capitalism, it's anti-Christian, it's anti-human beings, it's anti, your right to bear arms, it's anti all this stuff. So when they look at it still, they're like, it's sexual. You're making Santa Claus out to be a pimp. Santa Claus is going to take his suit off and he's going to lap dance and grind with reindeer. It's like, yeah, it's more than that. Okay, so they're talking about sexualizing Christmas by releasing the LGB plus holiday decoration line, which includes a Pride Santa and a Pride Christmas Nutcracker figure. I can't get over the Nutcracker one. Isn't it? You know what I mean? Get it? Nut crack. I mean, nobody sees it. The Nutcracker figurine is holding a progress flag. Oh, is this new? Progress? Oh, right. In your communist takeover, the progress flag. That makes sense. Which merges the LG flag with others representing trans individuals and black and brown people, while the Pride Santa features St. Nicholas holding the rainbow flag. So also available for purchase online is a Love is Love ornament, right? Because remember, the Antichrist comes in the name of love, like, right? The term love is another thing that's been hijacked, like many other things in this culture. Like the rainbow's clearly been hijacked because that's God's promise, and they've stolen that too. So people think love, they think of Jesus. They don't realize that they've taken that word and they're getting you to accept and love all the sins that God tells us, we shouldn't love, that we should be away from, that we shouldn't be involved with, that we shouldn't allow or like, right? They're telling you to love and be tolerant of all of these sins and perversions, right? But also in communism, love is how they start pushing their communist agenda and getting you to live in a communist society by using terms love is love. It's a complete mind control. I used to see all this footage of how they would incorporate communism and everyone would fight against communism. They'd be marching, etc. People don't realize they're doing it right now with a complete hypnosis. So they're using things like the LGB, and they know that those people they can warp. They're just warping them, pretending it's about that, but it's not. It's about all the ideologies of communism. And that's what that flag really stands for. They don't get it, right? But they'll support it to their death because that's them, they believe, because of the thing that they like to do in the bedroom, not so much in the bedroom anymore. They like to do it out in public in the parades, etc. So that's what this is. And love is really just a new communist rally cry. Really, that's what it is. So they love the fact, so they're all going nuts about it and laughing, of course, because Fox News host Jesse Waters, who, this guy's another one of these guys, man. I don't know what anybody likes about him. People who think they're funny who aren't, I guess is how I look at him. But Jesse Waters claimed on his show last week that the decor was sexualizing Christmas for children. His guest on the show Thursday, swimmer. It's not doing that. Yeah, yes, you can look at that perspective of what it's doing to children. But it's also forming a communist military behind this flag. Have you ever seen some of the memes with the flag and marching and whatever? They never mention that stuff, right? Because that's Fox News is communist also. How do you think we're getting to that point? Because Fox News is doing it too. And everybody should know that who listens to this channel. But anyway, so his guest in the show was swimmer Riley Gaines. And she said, why do you keep pushing this? Who are they trying to appeal to? Because despite what the media portrays or how politicians are voting, this doesn't represent the overwhelming majority of this country, really how the world feels in the issue. Because they know if they push, that people become more desensitized and accepting of it. And then they could start going to new levels, which is what they've done with even stuff that they're trying to do with children, right? And castrations, et cetera, et cetera. So if people don't push back, they just keep going forward and they keep normalizing this, thus normalizing all the communist ideologies as well as we head towards, literally hell on earth. So and I don't know if Riley Gaines is one of them, it's a swimmer. I don't really follow, who gets promoted, but I believe that she's being promoted, or he, whatever, is being promoted as some type of female athlete who's anti this. So Fox always rolls her out. So I'm sure, she's another bought and paid for person, because I don't know how you would get on any of these news stations. I used to say that when I had like 500,000 subs in a year. I'd say, well, if they're trying to get views, they could throw me on there because I was getting 100,000 views a video, and I'd love to actually bring some of these things up. They'd never put somebody like me or any of the old truther guard on television, because then people would become aware of us. Then people, even if they try to suppress us, people would fight for us, and they would make sure that we all, continue to have our free speech on the internet. So of course not. So anybody who really goes on there, we have to look at as bought and paid for, including this Riley person. So consumers research also included Target in a woke alert for Black Friday and Cyber Monday, saying the retailer continues to support woke policies even after immense backlash for their Pride Month line, which included LG merchandise geared toward children and even babies. The Conservative Media Research Center, meanwhile, slammed the display in a blog post by saying, leave it to the woke mob who runs Target to show how big of idiots they are once again. The post has reached out to Target. And again, there's no self-awareness by design, right? But this is a great herding mechanism, again, to rally up the right, to make them more loyal to their political party while the other side's loyal to their political party, and continue to keep the civilians divided. So Target has previously faced backlash over its Pride Month collection that included tuck-friendly women's swimsuits that allowed trans women who have not had gender-affirming operations to conceal their genitalia, as well as rainbow-themed children's clothing CEO Brian Cornell defended the LGBT merchandise at the time, saying selling them was the right thing for society. Yeah, because, who benefits in a communist society? These corporations do, I mean, oh man. But the company lost $10 billion. It's about influence, ladies and gentlemen. It's not about money. It's about control and influence. Okay? They're controlling the behavior of society. That's what they care about. They do not care about money. I just love how the conservatives is constantly, they have got it ingrained in them from these talking heads on television that it's about money. So they're just like, yeah, NFL gets billions of dollars. So of course they're going to support pride. It's about engineering you, and every means they have that they could possibly use, they will use on you. So, but that's the thing. People don't believe mind control is real, and all one has to do is study all these CIA operations that they've done over the years, which I've covered over the years, and I think I might recover them all again one by one. I don't really know. Not a lot of people are watching the content anymore, so I don't even know if it's worth covering. Maybe over on the website, but people need to be aware of this psychological operation. This is all a war on your mind. That's what this is. So reality isn't what you perceive it as, okay? It's a war on your mind, persuading your thoughts. They know how to do it from every which way, even to influence you, how you dress, who you like because, you feel this way. This is all put into your head. Why do you think they constantly talk about the mental health crisis? They're making people go nuts, and then they want to blame it on other stuff. But, in reality, it's the things that they're doing as well as those towers that are up around every town. So let me just finish with the article here. The nearly 14% drop in value for the blue chip stock roughly translates to $10 billion loss in valuation. I love when they talk in terms of the stock market, the greatest scam of all time. These people think they're intelligent. It's literally what once we used to call legalized gambling, but they've legalized gambling now. If you don't realize why they've done that, again, to help get us faster into a massive poverty society, gambling is a very dangerous addiction. And they literally are not even policing it anymore. They're letting kids gamble. They're gambling. When we were growing up, the gambling would be through a bookie, and you would gamble or whatever. If you gambled, you could bet the game on the point spread. Now you could literally bet how many farts a football player has. So is he going to fart 4 times? I'll bet $1,000 on that. People are betting the coin toss. I mean, they're throwing their money away at a rigged game. So whatever all the money goes towards, they make sure the opposite result happens. So pretty insane that people haven't, realized that with the stock market because they control the movement of the market. So they tell you, they're like, look, they think it's a win, these conservatives. Like, look, Target's stock has dropped. Who cares? Stocks go up and down. They don't lose any money. I mean, give me according to whom? Right? That could translate to $10 billion in loss because they're doing the pride stuff. Continue to boycott Target. How about we start a revolution against all of these corporations, specifically the CEOs and all the politicians of both parties who are doing this to us? That would be a good start, okay? But people won't do it. It's like, boycott with my money. That's what matters. No, it doesn't matter. They print money. They don't care. They're manipulating you by telling you that these things are losing money because you're boycotting. They're doing this by design, strategically. Okay, otherwise Target would be like, hey, the goal of the company is to make money. So if we're going to lose money with all this pride stuff, we're not going to do it anymore. Or any corporation, because they're all doing it. You ever notice that they're all in, how many companies pretend to be anti this? Like 5, like Chick-fil-A and a few others, Hobby Lobby. They're like, we're closed Sundays. We're Christian. We don't want to support that stuff. How minimal, right? It's a joke. They keep you divided over it. So they say it was the Target's lowest stock price in nearly 3 years. The last time the company saw a drop nearly this big came in 2022 after the stocks equalized, following an unprecedented surge during the almost said it. Sorry. During the outbreak. That's the word I use, outbreak. So everybody's in an uproar. You have the Pride Nutcracker. You have Santa with Love is Love, aka the Communist Manifesto. Love is love, tolerance, acceptance, socialism. But, socialism isn't really what they claim it is. I mean, it's just, they use the term Marxism, use the term communism. Let's just call it what I call it, satanic enslavement. That's really what it is. So they love doing this stuff. They really gaslight the crap out of people when they do stuff. I mean, it's amazing to me how many people get upset by stuff like this. And then I talk about other stuff. Like if you didn't see the video I did yesterday, talk about Cosmopolitan doing the Planned Parenthood thing, promoting it. And everyone out there is like, so what? They always promote it all the time. It wasn't necessarily, if you watch the video, it's not about promoting that. It's about they're actually telling people to chant spells while they're doing it. That's how crazy it's gotten. Go watch that video I did. They're telling people while they're getting the Planned Parenthood thing done to their bodies, they're giving them spells to read out loud, and they're telling them it's like meditation. Oh, chant this out loud. You'll feel better. They're teaching them to do the actual spell that they do when they do these rituals in secret. They're bringing this stuff out into the normal. That should be stuff that people are going nuts about. But no, They're going nuts about this, and of course, they want you to go nuts about this. It's laughable. They don't even want you to mention to Christians about Saturnalia and Christmas, about Santa and Satan, mix those letters up. No. They want you to just be in an uproar. And to me, it's hilarious. Like, I see this stuff, now it's just getting funnier and funnier. Like seeing the Love is Love on Santa and seeing the Nutcracker. I just love how they picked the Nutcracker. Again, if you're not picking up with nuts cracker, well, I think you get it at this point. But anyway, folks, people are buying into it. Be aware of what they're doing. They are normalizing and militarizing human beings. That's why, like I always tell you, these people, you can spot them. Would you ever think that, like, if you spot a regular person, you don't know what they like to do in the bedroom. Maybe it's like they lay on top of each other, right? Or they might like to dress up, or whatever the married couple's preference is, right? Or, the guy loves a beautiful woman. Or, okay, you would never be able to spot that, okay, unless the person told you. But we can tell by looking at these people what they like to do in a bedroom. Okay, do you understand? You can tell by how they dress what they like to do in the bedroom. Their blue hair, their weird, I call them lip glasses that they wear, right? Because they're building an army of people, brain dead people, but also people who are spazoids, who are completely unhinged, and they're telling you that it's because of this. They're building an army. That's what the flag stands for, because it's anti-everything that this country stands for. It's the communist flag is really what it is. So keep that in mind when you see this stuff. Try not to get too agitated by how they're normalizing all the other stuff, because of course that bothers all of us, and it should bother all of us. But there's deeper agendas behind it, including how they're grooming the politics. All those people who have that preference, they're making them have that preference, and through mind control. And they're also taking that and then telling them that, well, these are all the ideologies you have to have. You have to support this, support that if you're this, because you're in this community. I mean, this is communism at its finest, or I should say at its sickest. I thank everybody for being here. Hope you're all doing well. God bless all of you as always and your families.